Well, hello again. Based on the grainy video, you must know it's time for another City Council update. Today is March 2nd, 2009. We had a pretty interesting City Council meeting today. We actually had a committee of the whole and then our council member dinner and then the council meeting after that. There were some interesting things, some things maybe a long time in coming that came up today that we're taking care of, and I think to a positive end. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. There was no video for the last meeting. It was a 3-minute meeting. It was basically consent agenda and done. I was not at that meeting due to a death in the family, and apparently when I'm at meetings, they average about an hour or so, and when I'm not at meetings, they average 3 minutes. So say what you will about that. The meeting tonight, a few items on the consent agenda that got pulled. One of them that was particularly of interest to me was something that I kind of disagreed with. I ended up losing in the end 5-2, but there's a project to extend 20th Street Southeast. It currently terminates at 11th Avenue, and this will continue it further on. And because there are federal funds being involved, we have to do a study that looks at possible noise mitigation. And we had to consider whether or not to put up noise walls. And the one place we were looking was at the corner of 11th Avenue and 20th Street. And we ended up basically deciding to spend $250,000 of taxpayer money to put up noise walls that, quite frankly, I think is not a good use of our funding. Let me explain why I say that. There was this street extension has been in the long-term plans for Rochester since 1972. That's before I was born. And there are some condominiums to the southeast of the intersection at 11th and 20th that stated that a few people stated that they wanted some noise walls put up. It's going to cost us about $250,000 to do these noise walls. Now, bear in mind, these condos were built long after the plans for these roads going through, and the reason given is that they felt that the noise would be detrimental to their property values. I think this is an absolute waste of money. It's why I didn't support it. It was, it's $250,000 to put some noise walls up that serve a couple of condos. Probably aren't going to do much of anything. And these condos, they knew when they built them, they knew when the individuals bought them that this road was coming. And now we're, giving them a $250,000 gift. And what I should have done is I should have tried to make an amendment to get a $250,000 gift for my neighborhood. That would be pretty popular around here. But I disagree, and I mean I understand the others. They're representing what some of the citizens felt, and the citizens wanted these noise walls, and I just didn't think it was a good use of the taxpayer money. But I lost 5-2, so that's the way that goes. We had actually 7 hearings scheduled today. The woman who wanted to be able to operate her fitness center 24/7. The changes have been made that are going to allow her to do that. So that was 2 of the public hearings that we had. The third one was putting up a 2-story climate-controlled storage facility. That one passed real quick, 7-0. The fourth one was dealing with integrating the downtown bicycle study. And that one, because we're waiting for RDA to read on, we just tabled that for another meeting. The next 3 dealt with this complete streets, and this is kind of the big thing. And I guess first and foremost, there are a lot of people in the community that deserve a lot of thanks on this. They put in, just an unbelievable amount of work and championed this from the start. And I think before I even discuss too much about how this went, I just have to again thank and congratulate Mitzi Baker and Rochester Olmsted County Planning for the wonderful work they did. This is something that is probably long overdue for our community. So now that I've lavished some praise, let me explain to you what Complete Streets actually is. Complete Streets is essentially, it's a national program and done in a number of cities very successfully, but the idea is that when you build a street, you should design it with pedestrians, cyclists, transit, and automobiles in mind. In short, you should have a safe, usable street for every one of those types of activities. It's good for our health, it's good for our it's good for the vehicle miles traveled in the city, it's good for reducing demands on infrastructure, and it's good for the aesthetic appearance of our streets. We have a lot of really poorly designed streets. From where I go, there's 5 ways you can get down the hill from where I live, and all 5 have serious speeding issues. That's the result of a lack of planning. 7th Street Northwest through the Country Club Manor area. Those are my constituents out there. You know how that's a speed trap. It was poorly designed from the start. We allowed a lot of development to go on there without without thinking about the ramifications of what the street needed to be to support that, and as a result we had perpetual problems that would take millions of dollars to fix. That could have been avoided with some better planning and some traffic calming up front at a much lower cost. Now we have a problem. The thing we need to do when we have these kind of issues, we need to learn from our mistakes and stop repeating them. And that's part of the reason why I support the complete streets. We're going to take a hard look at how we're designing streets. Probably not going to add cost to it. That's one of the beautiful things. But we're going to make sure that there are safe pedestrian crossings, to make sure that there are bike lanes where bike lanes are appropriate. We're going to make sure that automobiles are able to move in an effective manner. We're going to make sure that we're designed for transit, including transit connections well into the future. So this was broken up into 3 different public hearings, the first of which was simply to basically amend some text to take into account pedestrian site design standards, among some other review criteria. That's something that's ongoing. That was approved 7-0. The next one was to amend the Rochester Urban Service Area Land Use Plan text to incorporate a broader definition of health in the text and an active living element. Real simply, what that's getting at is we are a society that has become automobile only, and that's not in our best interest. And when we consider some of these decisions to how we develop a community, we really need to take a look at make sure that we have healthier options, for walking or cycling. Making sure that if you're a person that's in a wheelchair or on crutches or something, you have a safe way of getting around too, because that does matter, and that certainly is not the case. 7th one was the meat of it. This is about adopting complete streets, and there are so many people to thank on this. I know I'm going to forget some, but Rochester Public Works, I think, was a big part of this. I think that they're really looking to the future and doing this. Rochester Olmsted Planning, a number of citizen leaders that came forward and spoke at this meeting. It was really heartwarming to see something that I felt very deeply about in building streets that are safe for everyone, that are well thought out, and doing development in such a manner that looks to our future. To have so many people come out and share those values, and I encourage you, if you get the opportunity, to watch the rebroadcast of the city council meeting so you can see for yourself. But just one after another marched up there and explained why it's important to them, whether it be looking at active living for seniors, whether it be looking for to have those that are disabled to be able to get around. Maybe it's transit operators, people who believe in cycling. Many people came up there, all in support of complete streets. It was a wide swath of our community, and to the credit, the council ended up approving this 7-0. The only group that came out and spoke against this was the Rochester area builders. I'm disappointed, I guess, that this isn't a concern to them as well, because it has to do with the neighborhoods that their people live into. But this was opposed by the Rochester area builders, and we heard what they had to say. I understand they have some concerns. They're watching out for their bottom lines too. At the same time, I think that there's a tremendous amount of wisdom and foresight in this complete streets approach, and I very much appreciate the fact that the council weighed the tremendous support, the small opposition to it, and made a decision that was appropriate for the long-term health of this community. I think this is a wonderful progressive step going forward. This was a very progressive move by the City Council. Proud to have been a part of it. And once again, I'd just like to thank Mitzi Baker and staff for being behind this, bringing this to our attention, organizing meetings so that we could learn about this. You as a citizen, you might be interested in seeing this at some point too, learning more. And there's going to be lots of opportunities to do that. You can always contact me through my website or through the city site. All my contact information is there. I'm happy to discuss it with you. And that was pretty much it for the meeting. I don't have a whole lot else to discuss, and I promised I was going to keep these things always under 10 minutes. So I guess I will just say I'm going to leave it there, and let's hope this winter's coming to an end and we can get outside and enjoy the great outdoors a little bit here. So take care, and I hope that those of you who have been contacting me continue to do so. And please forward this video along to your friends. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the subscription. If you're on Facebook, send it to some other folks. Let them friend me. This is the way that we're going to get out information, talk about what's going on in our city. So I thank you for all that you do, and hope that you'll find me to be very approachable on these issues. Thanks and good night.